Here, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won preseason week one at a fantastic score of 29-7. Pretty cool, right? Really great start here for the Bucs in preseason week one. Just going to give a couple minutes here, just give my thoughts and opinions before I peace out of here. Let's start with the offense, okay? Firstly, I thought Kyle Trask had a very solid game. 12 of 16, 129 yards passing, 3 rushes for 8 yards, had a lot of pressure in his face. We'll talk about the backup offensive line here in a little bit, but like Trask held up well whenever there was pressure beaming down on him, whenever you had moments and situations where it could have maybe been an ugly play here or there. Like Trask really commanded the offense well when he was out there and overall did a solid job. Shout out to Connor Bazelak as well. Didn't play a ton, but he was 6 of 9 for 48 yards and was also not making really many mistakes out there, which is great because this to me continues that continuity of, hey, this is going to be an offense that is friendly to the quarterback to where it's not going to be a ton of, plays where mistakes can be there, right? Really, it's a quarterback friendly offense, which is good to me, right? I like that aspect of it. Trask was very, very solid today. Very solid. One of the top, probably 3 offensive players tonight. Bazelak was fine as well. He was solid. Running back wise, baby. Sean Tucker, 13 carries, 50 yards, and a touchdown. He looked pretty good. Rachaad White was pretty good. 6 carries, 28 yards. He did have a groin injury at the beginning of the game. Gonna be kind of keeping a note on that going forward. Hopefully he is okay. He looked to be in a lot of pain whenever the injury did occur, but hopefully he's okay. Owen Wright. What a dog, man. 18 carries, 87 yards for a touchdown, a long run of 15 tonight. Sean Tucker had a long run of 23 yards. All in all, by the way, the Bucs had 41 carries tonight for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's impressive. They only threw the ball 25 times tonight for 170 yards. It's because Owen Wright, Sean Tucker really controlled the run game tonight in terms of just taking control. Owen Wright had like 2 other touchdown opportunities. Holding penalties brought it back. One was on Jacob Harris, I believe. The other one was on Ko Keefe. Not good. You hate to see that, but he did get his touchdown in the end as well. Shout out Owen Wright. He probably was the best offensive player of the game tonight. He really got warmed up and heated up in that fourth quarter. He had a stellar fourth quarter. So I don't know. Like, if I had to give like top 4 offensive guys in no particular order, it's Trask, it's Owen Wright, it's Sean Tucker, and then going to the receiving room, Ryan Miller would be that 4th guy. 6 catches, 66 yards, a long of 21 on 7 targets. Ryan Miller's was a stud tonight. He did get a little bit banged up and left the game, which is unfortunate. I hope he's okay. But like he made a statement tonight of like, hey dude, I'm still fighting for a roster spot. Don't forget about me. And I'm not going to be forgetting about Ryan Miller anytime soon. He went out there and made some plays. Jalen McMillan had a sweet catch. Emeka Ibuka had 1 sweet catch. Another guy I want to highlight real quick is Garrett Green. He had a couple of really nice catches on some screens. He also had a nice little like 32-yard punt return. Or I think it was a kick return in there as well. It was like 17 yards plus a 15-yard penalty. So Green had a couple of nice moments. That's kind of it for the offense, though, in terms of the good. The bad was the backup offensive line. The run blocking was pretty rough. The pass blocking was mixed. Sometimes it was okay. Sometimes it wasn't that good. It just kind of was a bit of a mixed bag in terms of what was going on there in terms of the blocking situation. There wasn't particularly any backup offensive lineman that impressed me in a big way. I would say it was probably the weakest part of the offense tonight was that backup O-line. So maybe they'll look to improve that somewhere down the line. Maybe it's something where it's just a cohesion type of thing. We'll see. Jacob Harris did not have a good game tonight. He had a holding penalty. He lost a fumble. Elijah Klein struggled as well at center. It was a bit rough, man. Mike Jordan had a holding penalty. Benjamin Chukwuma had a holding penalty. So it was a rough night for offensive holding penalties, really just offensive penalties in general, and then the blocking was really rough. Defensively, there's a lot of guys to mention. Let's start off with probably the best defensive player of the night. In fact, I would say he is the best defensive player of the night. Nick Jackson, 6 total tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, a pass deflection, a quarterback hit, an interception in there. Nick Jackson was a stud tonight. You could argue, probably like the first or second best player for the Bucs tonight. Him, maybe Owen Wright's in there, maybe Kyle Trask is in there, honestly. I don't know. Nick Jackson was another one of those guys where it's like, you need to remember my name because I'm going to fight to make this roster. And yeah, he certainly turned a lot of heads tonight. J.J. Roberts had a really good game too. 5 tackles, 2 passes deflected, one of which would end up being intercepted by Tyreek Thunderberg, which was a really cool play. You had a guy in Roman Parody get a pick 6, which was a really cool play for him as well. John Bullock had a couple of really nice tackles tonight, had the pass deflected up into the air that would be intercepted by Nick Jackson. So like Nick Jackson, J.J. Roberts, John Bullock, Tyreek Thunderberg, Roman Parody, those were 5 standout players from the defense. Shiloh was in there for a few plays, had a couple of nice moments here and there. Then the best play he had tonight was on a blitz where he disrupted the throw from Brandon Allen, brought him down, which was a really, really cool play. Shout out to Warren Peoples, who had a sack. Jacob Parrish had a couple of nice moments. He had 2 passes deflected. So all in all, it was a nice night all around for a lot of different guys, right? Like I said, offensively, I'm looking at Trask, Bazelak, Owen Wright, Sean Tucker had some decent moments. Ryan Miller and Garrett Green. Defensively, I'm looking at Nick Jackson, J.J. Roberts. I'm looking at John Bullock. I'm looking at Roman Parody. Thunderberg had a nice pick as some of the top defensive guys in there as well. I know I'm forgetting a couple of names. Parrish was in there. So that was good, man. Defensively, in terms of struggles, I think Braswell struggled tonight. Like, he was going up against backups and just could not get consistent pressure. Where you saw, like, other guys getting pressure, like Nick Jackson, like Warren Peoples and stuff like that. It's not a great start for Braswell. I really hope that he can turn it up and get going forward. Finally, shout out McLaughlin. He had a very nice game, made all of his kicks. Shout out Ryan Coe. He only missed 1 extra point, but he was still pretty solid. And then shout out Riley Dixon. He had 49 yards per punt. But really solid start for the Bucs in terms of preseason play and whatnot. Like I said, a lot of really cool guys that did some great stuff tonight. And on both sides of the ball, in a very exciting start to the Bucs preseason matchups.